Hey kids, get in my van.
It's time for comics.
Hello and welcome to the Comic Book Van, and I am the comic book man, Angel Hernandez. I had to really emphasize it this time. Last time I called myself the Comic Book Van. The whole thing.
Yeah, we didn't catch it after you did it already
No,
twice.
I did it a second time like an idiot. And I didn't even notice it that time. I just rolled right over it. Sometimes I get a little nervous doing this. So I'm going to play it right now just so that everybody can hear how stupid I sound. Hello and welcome to the Comic Book Van, and I am the Comic Book Van. I am also the Comic Book Van.
I will take all of you inside of me.
That sounds horrible.
Yes,
okay.
It is.
I'll take all of you inside of me. That is possibly the worst thing ever said on a podcast ever.
You listen to Babylon.
Okay, by me then on a podcast. So far I have 4 of them. Alright, so let's just start jumping into things because Comic-Con is going on. I really want to get to the news about that. And I read a manga. Last time I said I did want to at least give just a little bit of the tiniest corner to manga, because I consider them to be comic books. It is called Twin Spica by that person's name, Ko
Yaginuma.
It's a brilliant book. Very, very well written. And honestly, I did talk about performing the comics once before, and I kind of consider that I might do this one. It's about a girl who wants to join a space program. Her father used to work for that space program, but for whatever reason he stopped, and it seems to be some kind of family shame. It's just a daughter living with her father, and I think he doesn't want to let her go, and I think that's the hardest part about it. It's a really good it's a really good drama, and it's extremely well illustrated. Like, I see you flipping through the pages there. Like, what do you think of those drawings?
I like it. It doesn't look very anime-ish.
It's a little bit more. It has a
Like
bit of a little
reality looking.
Right. It's a real sharp artist on that book. And there's that cute Mr. Lion character there that I'm not sure if it's a figment of her imagination or not.
Well, she's a child here, so I would assume so.
But he's still with her as she grows up as well.
She's
See, look
insane.
at that double page there. I mean, that's cool. So, I mean, if hopefully maybe we can perform a chapter of this and we won't be sued. That would be amazing.
I'd still look into it first to be safe.
Well, we'll definitely all read it. No, there's no harm going to come from actually just doing it. Fuck these people and their strict copyright laws. We're gonna start.
You can't afford to be
breaking
sued.
breaking the law. Oh yeah, take all the money that I made from reading your book. If anything, I'm helping them. Alright. I did have a listener question this time. He asked me what do I think about Deadpool. And it was Wesley who asked me. Here's my opinion on Deadpool. They really screwed him up in the movies. He's called the Merc with the Mouth. He has like a red and black costume in comic books if you're not familiar with him. And his whole shtick is that he talks a lot. He's a highly trained assassin. He's a mutant with the healing factor. He has cancer, but he took like a little bit of a healing factor, like from Wolverine, I believe, and that keeps it at bay. But it makes him hideously disfigured at the same time because his body is constantly battling it. So he wears a full bodysuit and he goes out assassinating people, but being funny while he's doing it. Being funny with quotation marks around it. We're going to get to that right now. So in the X-Men movie Wolverine Origins, first thing they do is that we see Ryan Reynolds as that character for a little while, and then all of a sudden he's gone through most of the movie. He reappears at the end with his mouth sewn shut. He is disfigured, but he's some weird monster thing. He's more like Frankenstein or something like that. I don't really know how to explain it, but he has like different mutants' powers as well. Like Cyclops' Octic Blast and Wolverine's healing power and his claws, except it's like something else, kind of like sword coming out of his hand or something like that. So they really screwed him up in the movie universe. Not only that, they tried to make a movie about him, and he ended up taking that Green Lantern role, and we all know how that turned out. He made one of the worst movies possible. But considering they're trying to make, well, they're not really trying to make it a continuous universe in the X-Men movies. They've been all over the place. But how can you take him back from that? Like, his mouth was shut, and he was nothing like he was in the comics. And again, what everybody wants to see in a comic book movie is the comic book on the screen, not some weird shell, not some lifeless husk where there might have been a good story once.
Well, do you think they're realizing that and going to change it? That's why they want to make a movie about him? Or do you think they're just going to destroy it?
I heard that they are trying to do the Deadpool movie again. I hope that they just kind of forget that Origins thing ever happened. I think that most movie makers have discovered that by this point. But you'll notice that only Marvel and DC are trying to make their studios, like Warner Brothers Entertainment and Marvel Comics Studios, the movie studios, are the only ones that are trying to make films that closely resemble the comic book universe. They have to change some things. Not everything translates well to the screen.
Yeah.
Most of them have figured it out. You know who hasn't figured it out yet?
Sony?
X-Men on Fox a little bit. And if Sony is the one behind the Fantastic Four movie, then Sony, because they're going to fuck up that movie so fucking bad. So bad. And here's my opinion really quick. I should wait to talk about this, but the whole thing with the movies is that I feel like they have a lifespan. I feel like they have a time that the comic book movies, the superhero ones at least, people are going to get tired of them eventually. Like, I think it's a trend right now. It's so popular and there's so much money behind them. That's why so many are getting made. But eventually, it's going to be like a rubber band. They're stretching it and they're stretching it and stretching it. And when they make shitty-ass fucking movies, like the Fantastic Four movie's going to be, like, Jesus, they haven't made too many bad ones in the last couple of years. Like the Green Lantern ones. They ruin opportunities. And they're making people sick of them. The upside to this is that there's still room for comic book movies that aren't superheroes. But they're messing up Fantastic Four. I don't think we'll get to see a Green Lantern one. The Rock wanted to play Jon Stewart, the Black Green Lantern.
Oh.
That was one of the ones that he was in contention for. Ryan Reynolds ended up getting that part, but he talked about that. Now we're going to get the Rock as Shazam, which is going to be...
no idea what that is.
You will. I will get Shazam comic books. So one of the ones that has him on the cover there. He's pretty cool. As far as Deadpool goes, the movie needs an action writer, but they need somebody that knows humor. I mean, the thing that they always get wrong with the comic books, I find with Deadpool, is that it's never a good balance.
Well, are they gonna get Deadpool right? From a little bit you've told me, his mouth and what he'll do. That's an R-rated movie right there.
No, his mouth isn't, in the comic books, his mouth isn't sewn shut. In the horrible X-Men Origins movie, it is.
No, I mean more in what he says.
Oh, I got you, okay. Like,
if Marvel or whoever owns him is going to make a movie that they usually do, it's going to be a PG or a PG-13 movie. And Deadpool has no place in a PG-13 movie.
No, he doesn't. Real Deadpool needs to be...
So it's not going to ever turn out well.
Okay. I remember the scenario I described to you earlier about the comic book where he's fighting a villain called the White Man. At the end of that comic...
Nothing racist either.
Well, it was kind of humorous. It wasn't racist. It was a little...
Well, it was implied.
It was a little bit implied. Okay. At the end of that comic book, he shoots a woman in her kneecaps and cuts her fingers off, and then she's assassinated from afar. Do you think that's R-rated material?
It's not PG material.
If it were to get depicted on the screen? Okay. What about PG-13?
I don't know the rules for that. I know you only can say one F word.
Yeah, something like that, right?
It's one F word if it's applied not sexually.
Right, okay. Yeah, that's right. That's probably another wall. That's probably another problem they're having with it.
And too much violence will push it over as well.
Yeah. So there's problems out the gate. I mean, here's the thing. You can have it not be that explicit as far as the violence goes. Because I've seen that they'll have people dying in those movies, but they're not showing it. They're just showing the guns going, and you'll see them drop. Or you'll see like a cut away from what's happening, or just show their facial reaction. There's ways to get around it. But like I said, my concern is, getting it right. I don't know if they'll get it right. They're going to have to forget that origin stuff. And secondly, they need a comedy writer working in tandem with an action writer. Somebody to just strike that perfect balance of like, what's something funny he can say? What's something funny he can do in this part in any given moment? So, yeah, I'm hopeful for that, and honestly, I feel the same for the comic books. Comic books would be more appealing to people if they also had a comedy person working with them, because, let's face it, these guys draw they trained most of their lives to draw Superman and Batman and X-Men and stuff in cool action poses. But tackling a character that also needs to be funny, even for a writer that's should be somewhat versatile, it's going to be a challenge.
Couldn't they just find one of the writers for the comics that did a well done comic?
A humor one, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. If there's somebody out there like that, I haven't ever rolled over and started crying at a comic book, because I'm laughing so much. They'll be kind of humorous. They'll be like, ha, 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 woo, what a knee slapper, woo. But I've never been uncontrollable, holding my stomach kind of laughter. All right, so now let's start talking about Comic-Con, because it's only been 2 days in and a bunch of crap has already happened. A lot of things have dropped. So, have you ever been to Comic-Con before?
Nope.
Do you want to go to Comic-Con?
Yep.
I do too, and that's why this episode is probably going to be titled Comic-Con and How Much I Wish I Was There.
Even my mom knew you wanted to be there.
Yeah, well, even if you didn't know me, even if your mom didn't know me, she could probably guess that I wanted to be there, because I would just be radiating it off and sending subconscious subliminal vibes to everybody that I wish I was at Comic-Con.
I think your shirt says it.
I live, all the superhero masks on top of my shirt. I'll take a picture of it later on so everybody knows what you're talking about. I've been there twice, and it's a pretty crazy experience. I mean, you thought Anime Expo was pretty bad, while most of San Diego was shut down because of this thing. And not like stores are closed, but more like you can't find parking anywhere. You can't get anywhere easily because it's always jammed with traffic everywhere you go. The best ways to do it is when you get there and you rent a hotel that's on their website. They have trams that will take you downtown. They get on the freeway and they get off, and then they drop you off right down the block from the convention center. When we go next year, chances are we're going to have a hell of a time getting there if we're not even staying at a hotel. We're going to be staying at a friend's house.
Should we just find the hotel and just get on their bus? Do they know that we're not belong?
No, yeah, we could do that. Actually, that might be what I'm doing. Here's tips for everybody who might be considering to go, just so you know. If you know somebody in San Diego, pay them to stay at their house, because those hotel prices are insane.
And then find all the costumed fools and get on their bus.
Not all of them are costumed, and they're certainly not fools. Stephanie might think so. I don't think so.
That was a joke.
I know. Okay. So, a couple things that I'm personally excited about. I know you couldn't care less about it. There was a WWE panel. We're just going to talk about, by the way, this doesn't have to extend to just comic books right now. We're just excited for Comic-Con. So, everything that's about it, let's talk about it. Hulk Hogan, Sting, Daniel Bryan, and Paul Heyman were there. Paul Heyman's not a wrestler, just so you know.
I actually know 3 of those people.
The wrestlers?
Yes.
Nice. I guess they've all become household names in their own way. Hulk Hogan definitely is.
Well, he's the only one that I knew before you.
Okay. Well, and today as well, it's Daniel Bryan was in the news. He was on Fox. Apparently his house got broken into. It's just insane. That can happen to anybody, apparently.
Well, did they know who he was when they broke into the house?
I don't know, but I wonder what they thought, when they saw a 5'10" muscular man just running at him full pace down the street. He must have tackled one of their asses and just put him in one of his submission moves. He got him in the yes lock and was choking him. He's like, "You think wrestling is fake?" And he's choking him out. "You broke into a wrestler's house, brother."
Brother. Oh, brother.
I was excited for that. Sting, was there. And if you don't know who Sting is, he was a very popular wrestler in the early 90s all the way to the 2000s when WCW went away. He modeled his look after the Crow. The face paint guy. He had his best face paint on this time. He's looking in much better shape, and right now he's saying it's now or never. He wants to wrestle in the WWE. So everybody's hoping for a match against The Undertaker. I personally am hoping for just a good match, because he's 55 years old. So give him somebody who can bounce around like a pinball off of him while he stands there like a power guy instead. See, wrestling is all about making different kind of matches ups that work. So if you have 2 big guys, it's like a hoss fight, and they just need to be clubbing each other as hard as they can. But when you have an older guy, he's not as agile. So if you have a young, fast guy in there, they're both going to look a lot better for it. Okay, so that enough of that. I'll move on before I alienate anybody else. Kevin Smith premiered his Tusk movie. We just saw the trailer for it right now. What did you think about that?
Very cool. Kind of dark and creepy, so that's up my alley. And then you just like that it's Kevin Smith, so you watch it anyway.
I am a big Kevin Smith fanboy. His name has come up in every podcast so far. You mentioned Hollywood Babylon at the beginning of this one.
Another thing you've got me into?
Yes. I'm training my Padawan here in the ways of the Force and comic books and Kevin Smith movies, and
I've seen like every one of them now.
we have seen every single one of them, the whole catalog. And we both universally agree that all of them are good with the exception of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Yeah, we both zoned out at the end.
Oh man, that was like a eat coffee or drink coffee, not eat coffee, and donuts and have a little small talk while the movie's playing kind of movie.
And then you're like, oh, it's still on?
It's still on. Oh, it's still going. I'm excited for Tusk. It looks cool. This is like the new way that he's going with his movie seems to be like horror, like suspense thriller type things.
It doesn't look like his stuff.
It doesn't look like it at all. You wouldn't know without these little hints to his, like, kind of the way he delivers dialogue and characters.
I don't want to die. In Canada.
In Canada. The tagline at the end, he's like, I'm so scared. I don't want to die in Canada.
Yeah, there you can see it.
That's the best thing. And also, it seems like his friends and family are littered throughout the cast here and there. But a cool actor. I forgot the young guy's name in that.
Jason Long.
Is it Justin Long?
Justin Long.
Justin Long. Cool pool. What a unique guy. I haven't seen him in many things as of recent. He's probably popular for something that I'm just not paying attention to.
I haven't seen him in a while either. Last thing I remember seeing him, he did those Apple and Mac commercials, and he was dating Drew Barrymore for a while.
Oh Lord, really?
This was like was like the last thing.
Why was Grandma Drew Barrymore dating little 15-year-old Justin Long? She's like, you smell like my mother. Or my grandmother. Okay, ew. Yeah, I'm grossed out too.
She's not that old, is she?
Oh, she's old. Come on, too old to be dating a guy that perpetually looks like a little boy. He's probably past it, or he's probably in his 30s right now, and he looks like a small child still.
That's why he has the mustache in the movie. He's desperately trying not to.
It's not just that. It's supposed to kind of look like a walrus. Tusks. That's part of the whole thing.
I was like, that mustache is bad. Why do you have that?
So in the movie, he gets tricked into having free rent or no, not even that. That was the.
He just went to go talk to this old man who said that he had crazy stories and he didn't want to die alone. And then somehow it looks like his legs are broken.
I think
he's in a wheelchair and then he can't leave. And then he's turning him slowly into a walrus.
Yes.
With creepy horror movie things where he slides the little panel in front of his eyes and then there's like him sewing things.
Yes. Well, he's sewing him into the costume.
Oh, it's a costume? I thought he was like surgically removing him and putting walrus fins.
Oh my god. If he did that, that would make it even more creepy. I think he's just sewing him into the costume. But if he's like amputating things, if he's like some kind of surgeon, that's gonna be...
That's what I was
That's like human caterpillar or whatever territory.
That's what I thought it was going. This is disturbing.
I'm excited. It seems like it's going to be funny and disturbing and everything you said. I think it's going to be great. That's going to hit in fall, so look forward to that. There's some random geek things here and there, random actual comic book related things to be looking for. I mean, I guess this is all geeks things. So, have you ever watched the Arrow TV show, or have you heard about that?
I have heard about it. I have not seen it. I watch many TV shows.
I figure you like it because it's like Archer stuff, and it's one of the DC comic book characters.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about it. I never get around to stuff.
Maybe that's the kind of show that we should take a look into. I mean, we're still trying to watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and things like that. Game of Thrones.
I have become mainstream.
Oh, yeah. Let's just watch all the shows that everybody's ranting and raving about. Will be very, very typical. But actually, as you can see, it's compelling as hell. Like, people wouldn't be watching it this much if it wasn't good.
He poured gold on his head. Oh my god.
Oh, okay, so we're up to that point in Game of Thrones. Spoilers, where a guy gets a pot of gold, a boiling pot of gold poured on his head and gets killed. We're still bad on the names right now. It's really hard to keep up with all the names of the characters in this TV show, especially since they mutter most of them. This is just tangent mania, this episode.
Yay!
Arrow season 3, that's going to be starting, and his costume, for those familiar with the comic books, looks red. They previewed a red costume instead of the green one, I guess, or the kind of green Robin Hood looking costume that he was probably wearing. That was known for the character called Arsenal, so I'm getting more interested. I'm hearing that these things are touching into the comic books heavily, like that they seem to be close to true adaptations. And they also announced that they're going to keep their movie universe separate from their TV universe. Really quick, what do you think? Do you think that that's a smart idea, or do you think that that's a bad idea?
I think it's probably smarter because in a movie you have to sum everything up really quickly, and in a TV show you can have a long period of time to explain things and hit different points and go off in multiple directions. So in a movie you couldn't encompass all of that in what you could do in a TV show.
Yeah, you're right. The stories take different paths. They unfold in different ways. So, like in a movie, you're saying in 2 hours you need to unfold all of that
everything,
stuff.
And then you could have 2 years to have everything, even though it's really a long time.
Or in the span of a TV show, what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, you'd have like a longer time.
Yeah, trying to figure things out.
I think that in the sense that if they had to try to keep up, the movies would be limiting what the TV show can do. It would be limiting the progress.
They'd be limiting each other. They can't all. Yeah, they're just different mediums. They're not held in the same boxes. So if you put them, you're like, okay, I have to follow this movie. The movie has a short amount of time to do everything. Like, it doesn't have a lot of room to go off and do things, and just being connected would be just too much trouble.
No, you're right. That's a very mature response. When I was younger, it's the kind of thing that would have driven me mad, because I hope for continuity. I want to see, like, oh, is Batman going to come out on this show? Is it, are they going to connect this somehow with some major character? That would be the sort of thing that would excite me. And if I were to hear this news as a young fan, I would be infuriated. Like, why aren't they doing it this way, the way I want it? But I think that's the smartest move as well. And the shows, they're so promising, man. Like the Arrow, Constantine is going to be coming out. You have that Gotham City show that is just turning into a spectacular juggernaut. It's going to be all about Gotham before Batman becomes Batman. So,
is that one on, or is that one going to come on?
That's going to premiere soon.
Yeah, I was like, I wanted to see that one.
You wanted to see that one?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I think
it's supposed to be mostly on
I heard it was premiering on Fox.
Something like that, but it mostly goes around what's his face, the
Commissioner
Commissioner Gordon. Mostly about him.
Gordon. I said like Commissioner Gordon. Blah blah blah.
Blah blah blah.
That's the crazy thing about podcasting, how you have to learn how to speak well and
enunciate everything you say.
That's a better way of putting it.
September 22nd, that's when it's premiering.
Excellent. Oh, man, that's so close.
Thank you, Internet.
Thank you, smartphones. Okay, what else do we have? We got a poster from The Hobbit, so when is that premiere?
Oh my goodness, it's amazing. There's my obsession right there, and he thinks I'm weird. Actually, no, you think my Doctor Who obsession is weird.
I don't think it's weird.
Every time I point it out, I just get an eye roll and
That's an appropriate guy response to a girl being like, Doctor Who.
Oh, and how am I supposed to respond to the WWE everything and comic books everywhere? Have you seen your room?
Yes. I have seen my room, and there is comic book stuff everywhere. WWE stuff everywhere. I guess your room is like The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, and Doctor Who.
It's not. Actually, I don't have
and
that
what
much.
Benedict Cumberbatches and.
You actually said it right this time. I'm impressed.
Cumberpatch. Okay. So The Hobbit, you're excited for that one. I know you're a huge fan. When is that supposed to be premiering? You don't got to give me the exact date. Just
December.
December. Like where they've all been coming out December, right?
I think they're coming out December, but I can't remember this one.
And this is the final movie?
Hold on. No, both were December. This one is next summer.
Oh, this one's next summer?
It's something crazy.
Oh,
Hold on, let me...
Alright, use the power of the internet.
The internet. Peter Jackson might direct Doctor Who.
The TV series?
He might do an episode.
Oh, just do what that would make sense. Have him guest star and be in. That's cool. I'm interested in what his take would be.
Die.
He's like, in this one, they're gonna walk through the forest and trees are going to talk to them. And they have to deliver a bracelet.
You have no idea what goes on in either of these, do you?
No, I'm not a big fan. It's the thing that I need to start watching to appreciate your side of the coin more, I suppose.
The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies premieres on December 17th in America.
So it is December.
It is.
Oh, so cool. That is going to be one to see in the IMAX.
Oh, I know what it is, why it's doing this. It's a two-parter. December it is this, and then the summer it is going.
I'm shaking my fist so hard right now. I hate when they do this. Like, why did they make it into 3 movies as well? Dear God.
I hope I'm getting this right.
I think you're correct, especially since it's the end.
I was sure I remember they said something about the summer, but they already made 3 movies, so that doesn't make any sense.
No, you might be correct. That sounds pretty spot on. Let's just speculate for now, and go ahead and move on here.
Okay, I might be wrong. Just forget about everything I say.
There is the Batman TV series DVD box set that's going to get released. The Adam West, the Batman 66, if you will.
Oh, joy.
Oh, there are so many features on this DVD. It's insane. Look at the limited edition.
Addiction?
The limited edition. That was a Freudian slip right there.
Yeah, you guys want to just pump it into your veins. Batman!
An exclusive Hot Wheels replica Batmobile. Adam West scrapbook featuring never-before-seen photos from Adam West's own archives. 44 vintage trading cards. Ultraviolet digital copy of all 120 episodes. And then an episode guide, including synopsis of all the episodes, photos from the series, and a personal letter from Adam West to the fans.
Ralph Garman just must be dying.
I'm sure, being the biggest Adam West fan on the entire planet. Everybody's waiting for this thing. I can. As soon as it's out, I will get it, and...
It's probably like $50.
That's a $50 well spent. It pays for itself. There's a letter from Adam West in that. Which I will frame and pretend he sent to me.
This photocopied signature at the
Angel,
bottom.
old chum. Couldn't have done it without you. I cannot do an Adam West impression.
Born for another decade, but sure.
Alright, I want to talk to something that is especially exciting for us now because Image Expo happened the day before Comic-Con, and we're loving those Fatale books. As a matter of fact, we seem to be kind of gravitating a little bit more towards the Image comic books, like the indie style comic books, than the
They
big
don't have
Marvel and DC releases.
ads in them. It's amazing.
Yes, that's the best part about these comics is that there's no ads. So I'm gonna go and scroll through the list really quick and just tell you the titles. Rick Remender, Sean Gordon Murphy, Matt Hollingsworth. They're doing a comic book called Tokyo Ghost. Now, all there is an Image so far.
Apocalyptic looking. Well, actually, it looks like it was
kind of steam.
Apocalyptic, but then it's regrowing. So it's been a while after. Because this is the city street right here.
Yeah, and there's lots of green land and whatnot on it. Like it's kind of.
It's time after.
Okay. It looks a little steampunk, I gotta say, with that guy on the bike. And there's a girl on his back with either some kind of weapon or some kind of musical instrument. I can't tell what that is.
Probably a weapon.
One called From Under Mountains.
Indian looking.
Yeah, it's something, all right. I have no idea what to make of it, but I'll definitely be picking up a copy just to check it out. Valhalla Mad, Joe Casey and Paul Mayperry. It's just an advertisement. It says 3 lovable gods just here to have a good time.
Valhalla?
Valhalla Mad.
And does that include Thor or something?
It would have to if it's Norse mythology.
Valhalla.
And that's going to begin in 2015. My goodness. We're going to have to wait.
That looks cool.
Rumble. Wow, that looks very... I don't know. It has like a lightning bolt in the background. It's like a rumble text in big red block letters.
And a scary scarecrow thing with a staff.
And the comic book dots in the background. I love the artwork that looks this way. Southern Cross. Becky Cloonan and Andy Belanger.
Oh, it's a girl.
Oh yeah, another female professional, man. That's another reason to support that book right there. Because people aren't quite recognizing that it's flourishing now. That there's so many women getting into the art of making comic books in a world that used to be primarily dominated by men. It's pretty cool to have you tell me, because I feel like they put out the stories that I don't see that often other places. Stephanie, being a girl herself, has no opinion on this whatsoever. Okay, and I'm going to end with possibly the coolest cover we've seen so far. It's called Descender. I've never heard of these guys. It's Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen, but it is an attractive-looking cover.
There's a robot child with the moon gazing into the stars. Some
kind of AI child, but it looks very, very beautiful illustration. Almost got a watercolory type touch to it. Some of the colors.
Yeah.
I'm excited for these Image comic books, so do yourself a favor and check out the comic books that were previewed at the Image Comics Expo this year. So there's a lot more things that are still coming up from Comic-Con. I'd recommend checking out the news feeds. I tried to tell you all of it here, but we are getting worn out.
It's like 1,000,000 degrees in here.
Podcasting is hard work, and we're working up a sweat doing it.
And I have a donut waiting.
There's a donut and coffee waiting for us. Real quick, let me just tell you about the books that we're going to be reading this week. These are the ones that I picked up. Wonder Woman number 33. We went through some of the dollar bins. We went to our local collectible show, Frank & Sons Collectible Show in City of Industry. It's like a flea market for collectible things. I recommend checking that if you're in town. One book by IDW called Half Past Danger. It looks very cool. Seems like we only pick up very cool looking comic books, and they end up paying off and being very cool looking on the inside and being very well written.
Because I judge a book by its cover.
That's the way you gotta do it.
And then I'm like, the inside doesn't look like the cover. They lied to me.
See, I talked about that last time too. It bothers me. Shudder, number 1. Image Comics, getting much more indie here. Miss Marvel, number 1. I talked about it last time, and I thank the gods for creating this comic book. Supergirl number 33. I read it. Stephanie hasn't, but it's amazing. Saga number 7. We got 2 more issues of Fatale. We're just hunting around, picking them up.
But we keep going further away from number 1.
Yeah, that's the difficult part. Here's another great thing about ImageComics.com. I'm pretty sure you can still log on to their website and read the first issue of any comic book that they have out on the rack right now. They have them up for free there. You can read issue number 1 on ImageComics.com. Batman and Robin number 33. I got the Avengers 100th Anniversary Special, and obviously they haven't been around for 100 years, so they kind of just pretended. It is a beautiful book. It is James Stokey. I don't know how to say his last name. At the very bottom there.
Strange, I don't know either.
And then, and the last book here, Ragnarok. It is steeped in Norse mythology. It is very cool. It has Thor on the cover, wielding his hammer, and a giant dragon he's about to do battle with. And these are the comic books that the best of the best and the worst of the worst we'll be talking about on next week's podcast. Seeing as a lot of things are coming out of Comic-Con, we might do another podcast very soon if the news is exciting enough and warrants some talking about.
We'll be here.
But for now, it's time to go. So thanks for hanging out in my van in this extra long edition of the comic book van. And till next time, keep on reading comic books.
Bye.
See ya.